Fellas, this is how to make a beat for 9 Vicious. Starting off, for the BPM, I'm at 140. You can go anywhere from like 130 to 145 is the range I like to go. And the first and most important thing you want to do is start with a piano. I'm using this piano in Xenology called Medium Grand. Just a couple notes nearing the start of the pattern, then towards the end I do a little bit more of a piano roll. Same thing here with the second half, but the roll's a little bit different at the top. I just pitched some of these notes up and changed them to an E instead of a C sharp. Your goal for the piano should be to keep it simple, but also very catchy. One thing that I like to do, which is one of the most important parts, is adding these little notes like this A right here and these C sharps right here. And then if you go a little over in the pattern, you can see the same thing here when I raise it up for these E6 notes. After the piano, I laid down this pad in Serum 2. This is just one of the default presets and it's called Crystal Strings. For the mixing on that sound, I threw on an OTT and a Cold Fire with the Drums Ripper preset on it. Next thing I added was this lead from Serum 2, and this one is in my Ignata multi-kit. Now for the mixing on that, I threw another Cold Fire on it, a default Fruity Hyper Chorus, and a Gross Beat on the Stutter 4 preset. It normally looks like this, but I dragged this up because I didn't want anything here. I just wanted it to repeat at the end. Next up, I added this Xenology preset called Dial Tone Crush. This sound was in the effects category, but I thought it sounded cool as a lead, so I threw it in. The last sound I got is a pulsating sound from Xenology, and it's in the Make Trap Great Again Xenology bank. It's called Sorry for the Gate. For that sound, I threw a halftime on it just because I wanted a lower octave sound in the melody, and I think it sounds a lot cooler with the halftime on it. This is it with it off, and then with it back on. Now we're going to move on to the drums, and all of these drum sounds are in my Ignata multi-kit, which I mentioned earlier for the Serum preset. Link is at the top of the description. So the clap is just a default clap pattern. I'm not going to really go over it. Hi-hat is also very simple. I didn't want to just do a two-step, so I kind of spammed them out a little bit more and add these little breaks in between, just these little pockets where the hi-hats don't play. Right after that, I added one of my favorite open hats. Next up, we'll go over the snares. I got this one, which is the main snare that's playing, and then I have a second snare. It's grayed out right here. Let me go to it quick. It's just playing 2 little notes, so we'll play this one first. That's all it is. And then the second snare, a little bit more of a pattern going with this one. One other sound I added to kind of accent those snares was this perk. Both of these 4 bars are very simple. I literally just moved one note over to make it a little bit different the second time it plays. And lastly, we got the 808. All the 808s in this kit are absolutely crazy. They're my favorite parts of the kit. Definitely the 808s and the Serum bank. This one's called Abstract, and it's one of my favorite ones. So one thing I focused on when I was making this 808 is I wanted to make it seem like I was building up to something. So it feels like the notes are building up, building up, building up. And then right when it gets to its peak, it goes back down from a B5 to a B4. And then the final part it was supposed to hit back here where people thought it was going to hit, it ends at the C sharp 6. So instead of bringing it right here and completing the pattern of going all the way up, bring it back down, and then it works its way back up quick. And then there's a little slide note right here just to add a little bit of a cool accent. So it slides back into the F sharp. That starts the bar again. Instead of it just being... Adding the slide note just sounds like it's ending, you know what I mean? It sounds like there's a lot more closure to the pattern, and it sounds a lot smoother when it transitions back to the start of it. So I showed you all the plugins I added for the mixing on the melodies earlier. The rest of it is pretty much just leveling, other than taking out the lows of the melodies so there's room for the 808, and also adding a soft clipper on the master. Everything else is really just leveling out the sounds. And the last thing I did, don't know why I did this, I just kind of felt like adding it, was I did a little metronome intro. And I added my tag as well. So the start of the beat, there's nothing playing other than that. And for the arrangement, I always like to think in 2-3-2. So 2 bars for the hook, 3 for a verse, and 2 bars for a hook again. And if you want to add another verse and a hook, you can. I just like to do hook, verse, hook for these beats. For all the drum sounds and serum sounds I use today, link in the description. Ignite a multi-kit out now on my website, pakzz.net. It'll be at the top of the description. I'm gonna let the full beat play out, and I'll see you guys later.